Hello YouTube, this is Gergo Kaiser. I guess enough people wanted to see my Chronojet deck profile that I used to go 8-0 at the Michigan ARG States this past weekend. I was surprised by that. I wouldn't think people would be too interested because it's an extremely commonly played deck. Nothing I'm doing is super revolutionary, but I'll figure I'll show it anyways. Maybe you guys will like something or whatever. But here we go. For my starter, I'm playing 2 copies of TikTok Worker, because if the card's good enough to be banned as a starter and restricted to 1, you should be using it as your starter. Like Chronojet's a cool card, but if this thing's banned, it's banned for a reason, and if you're allowed to use it, you might as well. Especially if you're playing in a competitive tournament environment. So for my triggers, I got 4 of the Zodiac Keel, 1 Gear Cat. No more than 1 is needed because you can tutor it out with Mellum. It's a really good combo with your Hetero Hound. I would say probably 60% of the time I end up using this in a game. At least half the time, 50% of the time. Like, it's a really good card that combos with it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. For Urwatar, because it's really, really, really good. In Japan this past week, it got restricted to 1 because it's so good. Although I probably wouldn't have done that myself. I probably would have banned Mellum. But, like, whatever. Yeah. It's a really freaking good card. And then, 3 Zodiac Crits and 4 Heart Thump Worker. I don't really like draws in the deck. Some people do, but I feel like it doesn't make sense. I'd rather have a 10k shield that I can draw into. And if you're going to be using a deck that hits hard, I'd rather hit harder with triggers that deal more extra damage and stuff. Like, I like crits more than the draws. The draws feel really random to me. For the grade 1s, I was playing 1 of this new Steam Maiden. She's actually really cool. I really like her a lot. When you call her, both players can put a card from the drop zone back into their deck and shuffle. If your opponent agrees to also do it, you get the counter charge. Now, often the opponent won't do it because putting 1 card back isn't worth letting you counter charge. But it doesn't matter because in the end, you're still putting something back. Like, I use this thing to put back triggers. I use it to put back TikTok. Any combo piece I need for the current situation. Sometimes they actually do agree, and you get to unflip damage. It's really, really amazing. 1 Takeaway Dragon, because he lets us like put back tons of triggers, and just like her, build our deck with the things we need to time leap into. And you can use them each time a card comes out. So when a card leaps, and then when a card returns from time leap, you get to do it for both. For Mellum, because she's broken. She's like the best card in the deck. She should actually be banned in my opinion. She's too good. 4 Perfect Guard to unflip. And some people only play 3 of this, but I like to play 4 Steam Breath Dragon. I don't feel consistent enough with less of them. I have a harder time striding and getting the consistent rides I want and things, and I know why some people do. It's not for me. I like the more consistency. And it's never actually bothered me having the 4 of it. I've never been like, oh no, I wish I didn't do that. For 2s, I play 3 Calibum. I really like running this card at 3. I don't know if it's just that I'm lucky, but I draw this card a lot as in my secondary hand, like probably at least 50% of the time. And that's when this card really shines. It's amazing turn 2. And it's good late game too, calling it and getting rid of stuff. Round 2 of the tournament, I played against Luard. And I rode Chronojet regular. and I strode, and I spun one of his cards, and I called this, and I got rid of his starter, and then I tried attacking his rear guard, and it forced him to guard it when he normally wouldn't want to start guarding at this point, because he needed to keep a card out so that he could pay the cost for large stride. It's cool. 2 Delayed Blazer Dragon. This card has been really good to me as of late. At first when this card came out, I didn't like it that much. But lately, I've been really loving this card. This card really extends the number of plays that you can do. Sometimes he gives you like 3 more attacks than you normally would have had. Really great card. 2 Upstream Dragon. He's not nearly as good as Melon, but he's still really good in the deck because he's a grade 2, can hit by himself, and he can tag into some really helpful cards like Tick Away. And then the best grade 2 in the deck, History Maker Dragon. That you do Broken Blaze. We all know why that card's good. For my 3s, I'm playing 4 Chronojet G and 2 regular Chronojet. I used to think regular was actually better, but in my experience, I like G a lot more. The Time Leap skill is really good, more helpful than that one most of the time. And the power up is really cool too, especially with the way I play the deck. It goes up really fast. And my last grade 2 or grade 3, I play 1 Square 1 Dragon, which I really like this card. As much as I'd like to increase the number of Chronojets in my deck, I can't get myself to take this card out because this card is just so good. I've seen some people who don't play it and understand the consistency, but I feel like the card's just so good. He becomes a grade 0, and then you can Time Leap him into Mellum and just continue everything. And you can go to your end phase, do his Soul Charge, and then Time Leap him and stuff, and I really like the card a lot. Those weird sounds, if you're wondering, is my daughter. Into my G zone, I played 2 Phoenix. It's almost always, 90% of the time, your first stride. And I played 2 of it because while you'll try it usually a first time, sometimes you need to make aggressive plays in this deck, but you don't have Counterblast to do something like next stage, in which case you can still push really hard with this card but not have to Counterblast. I play 1 Hunglong. It's usually the card I flip for my Phoenix, and it sets up for my plays later on. I then play 3 Next Stage, and I play 2 Gear Groovy. Some people, probably most you'll see, like to play 4 of him and none of this. I really like Gear Groovy though. In fact, even though you can just go Next Stage and then go Gear Groovy later, so that you got to do Next Stage twice in the same game, I often will go into GG first and say screw it, I don't care if I get the Next Stage again, just because I'll be able to turn the GG into Next Stage in Hunglong, and that, even though it's my second stride, that will push my opponent so hard that if they don't die, they'll have nothing to fight back against me. And because of his skill, it flips up so many cards so fast, it makes your Chronojet G really big, really fast. Next I play 2 Revolution for matchups like Link Joker and stuff. If you have no board, you can wipe out their field for free, basically. For, well, not free, it's Counterblast 1. I only used it once during the day against Nova Grapplers round 1. I had nothing. They had a full field. I wiped their field. They still had 5 cards in hand, but they couldn't afford to guard because then they'd have nothing to try and kill me back with. So they had to no guard, and I critted them and won the game. My last G unit is 1 Seabreeze. We all know why I play this. Into the G units to finish it off are G guards. 1 Uluru. I really like her, but I can't find room to play more than just the 1 for now. Play 2 Heterohound because 1 isn't enough. It's one of the best G guards in the game. Can really mess up your opponent's field. I think by now we understand why this is a good card, because it doesn't have to do it against the necessarily attacking unit either. you can guard against a card that's currently attacking and still mess up something elsewhere that hasn't done anything yet. Really, really good card. And then my last is I'm playing 2 Rafana. I debated whether I should play Dismal or not, and then I discovered how good this card is. The reason I would want to play Dismal mostly is for the VMAX matchup, and at the tournament before, last Friday before I went to ARG States, I was playing against VMAX, and when he does VMAX play, I was like, oh cool, I got a sweet play. Guarded with Rafana, and one of his attack targets with his VMAX, I had Rafana send that back to the deck and call Tic Tac out of the deck, but I called it to a different circle that wasn't being attacked, and that totally messed up his play, because then one of his targets disappeared, and that means I would still have, so it wasn't getting attacked, and that meant I would for sure have a rear guard there at the end of his attack, so he couldn't deal the damage, and it let me guard my Vanguard for 25 at the same time. So, really good. After I realized how good she was in that matchup, I was like, I don't need to play Dismal. I'll just play 2 of this card. So yeah, that's it for this deck profile. Thank you for watching.